Greece Athena Middle School Music Theater, and your children made it into the show. Congratulations. So, yay! Very excited. That's awesome. So, I'm very, very thankful for all of you all turning out this evening. Thank you so much. You have in your hands, I hope, I'm assuming you picked it up on your way in. If you did not, feel free to get on up and go out there and grab the parent handbook. It has as much information as possible. I think we were pretty specific with it.
People in the back that they can't hear.
Who can't hear?
Use your teacher voice.
The reason why we do this, and I think you can read, we do donate to at least 3 charities every year. We still have to pick our charities for this year, but they'll probably stay the same as last year. And we can talk about that at a later time. But last year we were so fortunate to be able to donate $21,000 to children's charities. So that's really cool. And when I got to write those checks, I think I did it in late March, early April. Immediately, I got feedback from all 3 of those charities in the form of the letters. Nice and formal on their part. Thank you so much for everything you do. And it really makes a difference to the kids because we have those charities come to our rehearsals and speak with the kids about what they do and why they do it. And most of it's related to cancer or children with disabilities. So it really makes a big difference in our own children's hearts that they're doing something good for the community. But why we do this is because it's an extracurricular club. That's all. We're just extracurricular. And yes, the kids are going to work hard, and they have a ton of fun, and usually they're all bawling by the end of the last performance. Oh, that's my prize. So it really is a good thing, and they have a great, great time. And yes, it's hard work, so we're going to talk about that. You're going to get a lot of communication from us. Please watch your emails. Please fill out that parent-student form because I'm assuming it has your updated information. Sometimes we go into Infinite Campus as teachers and we go to email and it pops back to us. Uh-oh, you didn't update Infinite Campus. We need that information so that we can get a hold of you. Not just emails, but if a phone number changes, could you please let us know? We'll be glad to tell the office for you. You're going to get a lot of expertise in the form of in a lot of different forms. Not just teaching expertise, but you got an awesome choreographer, people who've been in leadership for a very, very, very long time. Because the tradition here at Athena Middle School goes back 25, 26, 27, 28 years. I'm counting on what I was doing back then. We really love your children. We wouldn't do this if we didn't have a love, yes, for theater, but it's people that make the theater, and it's a school, and we love your kids. So you will get your child will get a caring and nurturing environment. Doesn't mean we're going to be nice all the time, but because we're pretty hard on them for certain things. But we really do care. If we didn't care, we wouldn't put the expectation as high as we do. And of course, as you all know, an outstanding show at the end. It amazes us every year. Gray hairs, but it amazes us every year. Go ahead and get one. What we expect from you. And you're going to see more than one slide of what we expect from you, so it sounds like we don't do anything. Volunteer, you'll see a lot of stuff that we do. Please, the first reason why we're even sitting in this room is because this is a school. So please support your child academically. Make sure that they're doing their homework. Ask them questions. Talk to them. In fact, when I talk about the grading policy, I've already given out 7 or 8 runaround sheets because the 5-week grades came through last week. Were you aware of that? Wednesday afternoon, they were uploaded, shall I say, and you have access to that in the parent portal. If you're not sure about what that is, please see one of us teachers after the meeting, and we'll be glad to set you up with how to access the parent portal. And that's how you check the 5-week grades. Of course, you can always call the teachers, but it's just easier to access the portal because everything's there. Please volunteer. We cannot do this with a few people because the outcome of these shows is huge and we need your help. Any little help that you can give us would be wonderful. Please check that email daily. Forms You'll get a lot of them now, but later on, they will start to dwindle, but our information won't. In fact, as we ramp up towards Tech Week, and the fact that we're not in our own Performing Arts Center, we are over at Greece Olympia, and we're so thankful for those people, because we are working together with those folks too, to share their space, their teaching space, and we're very thankful for that, and we're ready to work right alongside with them and their custodians, but we need help a lot logistically this year. Please be involved and follow through with your children. And I can say that as a parent, I have 4 grown children, and I was one of those pain in the neck teachers. Mom, why do you have to be a teacher? Oh no, do your work. Follow through with your children, please. Some new responsibilities, and hopefully you all saw on the email or on the website, which I'll talk about in just a second, the new policy this year. We need to make sure that your child is safe when they are with us for performances. If there's health information that we need to be aware of, allergies, etc., we need to know, and you're the only one that can give us that information. So we're asking that we have your contact information if, heaven forbid, there is an emergency. We didn't get enough forms last year, so we decided as a group, how can we make sure that parents fill in their form? Well, tonight's a great opportunity. If you are watching from home, because this is being videotaped for parents who have to work at this time of the day, please feel free to call 966-4277. That is my direct room number, and you can get information straight from me. Anytime that you have any questions, feel free to call. It doesn't bother me at all. I just might not answer right away because I'm probably teaching. But you have to make sure that you have that information filled out, because your child will not be considered a cast member until you have that information filled out. Yes, or being me. What? 4277. 966-4277. Was somebody else saying something? Okay, that's it. You'll see directions on the forms. And I think, I don't know, is Mr. Hackney going to talk about forms at some point tonight, because we have this Google Doc thing that's just really cool, that's exciting. We're trying to kind of use technology a little bit more to everybody's advantage and make it easy for everybody. Please send forms and payment in with your child, or if you feel that you can't trust your child, you can always send it in the mail. And please, this is a big thing, we work long hours, you work long hours. It's hard to juggle schedules. I've been there many, many times in your shoes, so I understand 100% completely. Please be on time to pick your child up for rehearsals, because we're on time. Okay? I don't want to have to sit around for another hour waiting for... I'm not going to leave your child here. I just can't do that. We would never do that. So please be on time. If there's an issue, give us a call or email us. We've got these really fancy phones. Please look at the rehearsal schedule and remind your children when they rehearse. You're probably going to have questions about which groups and which number my child is in at first, and that's okay, obviously, but they will get used to it probably faster than you do. And actually, they haven't asked, I don't know about you, they haven't asked a lot of questions, because we put all of the scenes up on the wall, we send it to you guys in emails, so you know which groups for which scenes, and of course, if there's any questions, I always make the kid read it first. Here, let's read this together. So look at your information is what I tell the kids. And of course, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I leave stuff out, so please just ask. If your child is sick, please do not send them to school or rehearsal. Please do not. Because we are trying to keep all those nasty germs away from all of each other. Okay? So, oh gee, they have a rehearsal. It's December 5th. I have no idea what day December 5th is right now. Okay, keep them home. That's okay. Even during Tech Week. That's how I got sick one year. I don't feel good. I go home breathing in my face. Opening night, who was sick? Couldn't even go. Me. Please keep your child home. And we kept it away from the leads. Oh, it was a miracle. We kept it away from the kids who had like the major parts that we just don't have understudies for. We're middle school. There is a costume fee of $10, which is payable to Greece Athena Middle School Music Theater. That helps us to be able to, this is a huge costume show, that allows us to be able to go a little bit more of an extra mile and make your kids look amazing on stage. And every year the costume committee is just amazing. So kudos to them. You'll hear from them later. Any other payments are either for food or memorabilia, and that's all optional. So anything above that $10, if you want to make sure that your child has a cast meal for the shows, because we do not let them go home between the Saturday afternoon and the Saturday evening show. We do not have time. So we feed them, but you have to pay the $5 or whatever it is this year for that meal, and they're fed really well, so keep that in mind. Obviously, please send your child the food. We have cast snacks, too, that they get to buy like 50-cent snacks during the show to keep their energy up, so it's a good thing. Please volunteer. Keep it as simple or as complicated as you want. We will take your help. We value your time. We know how it is, but please make sure that you help us in any way that you can, even if it's for an hour. Hour works for us. Your children have responsibilities. Do you believe it? They need to keep the grades up. The policy is this: 3 Fs, they're out. 2 Fs, they can't rehearse. They have to fill out a runaround sheet, and if they don't improve those grades, kicked out. 1 F, you can rehearse. They have to improve their grade. They're going to fill out a runaround sheet, and the principal and myself and Mrs. Robinson are on it. I've already handed out 8 of them, and we made sure that those children knew, hey, 5 weeks is just a snapshot, right? Counts towards GPA at 10 weeks. So they need to feel the pressure, like, I need to make sure that, for me it was math. I know, shocking, right? Oh man, I have to go to help class. I was always there. They have to check the rehearsal schedule and attend the scheduled rehearsals. Now this is where we work with kids all the time. How many of your kids are in sports? How many of your kids are in dance? How many of your kids are in travel sports? Hey, it's always great. And then the other stuff that I'm not even mentioning, right? There's more things that your children are involved in. That's really, really awesome. If there is a conflict during rehearsals, like on a Saturday or something, please just let us know by writing a note. Because we actually take attendance. I have to take attendance. This is a club, so we need to take attendance and make sure we know why Susie wasn't there, Johnny wasn't there, what have you. So please just communicate with us. We're really lenient on that, but if we're going to miss 10 rehearsals in a month, that's a problem. So see, it goes both ways. So just communicate with us. We're really willing to work with your schedule and your children's schedule. And of course, being respectful, responsible, and productive is what they're going to show during rehearsals, during performances, during the times that they're working with our adult volunteers. We're really sticklers about making sure that they follow those rules. And they do, and they're very, very sweet. We need volunteers for committees, because that's what's up. Next, Gina, do you want to say something about Athena and a whole bunch of other stuff? Gina DeBella is here to talk to us about some stuff that's going on at Athena.
Thanks. I'm Gina DeBella, and I'm helping to coordinate the Light Up Athena project. How many of you are new this year to Athena? A few of you. So a lot of you already know what Light Up Athena is, but for those of you who are new, we are raising funds to purchase a digital sign for the Athena campus. And hopefully you picked up this flyer on your way in, because it's got lots of information about it. You also got it in the mail this summer, but sometimes those get lost. Let's see. We've raised raised or pledged $17,000 for our goal of $30,000, which would cover the cost of the sign and other costs like electric and such. Now, the GAMS Theater has been the biggest supporter of Light Up Athena, having contributed more than $5,700 since 2012. No, we haven't been working on it that long. Now, the APAC is closed this year, and our goal is to have that sign installed when the APAC reopens in the fall. I don't know if that's when it's opening, but so let's hope so. So how can you help? It's all outlined on this form, but let me just go over it really quickly, because the theater kids have been really helpful doing some of these things. Box tops for education. You probably collected them in elementary school, and it's carrying it on to middle school. More than $1,000 in box tops was collected last year for Light Up Athena, and since 2012 we've collected $3,000 in just those tiny little pieces of paper. This year we got something new called Strive for 75. which is on here. And if every Athena student brought in at least 75 box tops this year, we could reach our goal. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but you can bring in 75 or more. And you can also go online for other offers. Put your student name and grade on the envelope. We're going to have 2 drawings this year. One, the family with the most entries or most box tops, and then we also have this drawing every 50 that you bring in. We put your name in for a drawing for a gift card. And the box will be available at the Saturday rehearsals or in Mrs. Bechtold's room. It's also out there right now in case any of you happen to be carrying any in your purse or bag or something. But bring them to, please bring them to rehearsals. Other ways we're collecting money is bottles and cans. You can take your empties to any Nickelback location and ask your refund be donated to Light Up Athena account. Or you can take them to Wegmans, take your receipts, and bring them into school. Wegmans or Tops. Okay, I'm almost done. New this year, see this box here, we are collecting ink and toner cartridges and small electronic devices through Imagine It. And on this list again, I was amazed at what they collect. Besides the inkjet cartridges, laser toner drums, fusers, anything that goes into and out of a printer, copier, fax machine, cell phones, regular and smartphones, PDAs, MP3 players, laptops, digital cameras, camcorders, GPS devices, USB devices, DVD players, tablets, cases, cords, headphones, all that stuff. It's all on here. They collect it and we get money for it. I don't know how much money, but we get money for it. So it's worth it. Bring it to if you can bring it to the school office. Well, I'm sure your kid isn't going to want to do that. Or bring it to Saturday play rehearsals. We'll try to have it out at any special events as well. Also, something that the Imagine It people told me is that if your office or workplace is interested in donating empty cartridges, we can make arrangements for a pickup, so you can email lightup.athena@gmail.com, and we'll figure all that out. So that's a great way if you've got an office or a workplace to do that. So join the Light Up Athena committee or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And the GAMS website.
Yeah, we have actually 2 websites. We're phasing out an old one, and we started one through the school on Google, because it seems to work right now for us, because we're just, Crystal Robinson is in charge of that, so thank you, Crystal, for stepping up to that. The link for the new website is found in several places. The old website, for those of you folks who've been around a long time, is gamstheater.org. And then on that site is the link directly to the school. Or you go to the school site, extracurricular, or Parent E-News. There's a direct link from there. So if you're signed up for Parent E-News, you are all set, ready to look at that site. Anybody see the new site yet? Raise your hands, you have. Okay. Yay. So it's out there. Go ahead on to the next one. There's a tech crew that is amazing every year. Your children, maybe a couple of children are in the cast or in the crew as well, but this is primarily cast. And they make your kids look, sound awesome. So we cannot do it without their help. And in charge this year is Jean McCrackan and Mary Donlon. Do you want to say a few words about? Come on up. You're the next contestant. And talk about tech crew.
Hi, I'm Jean McCrackan. I don't know if Mary is here. She was supposed to come late.
Morning.
Mary Donlon. Are you going to speak tonight? Okay, it's all me. Just a couple of quick notes, because we're actually taking over. This is our first year from Gina DeBella, who just spoke about Light Up Athena. So I'm sure who's been here before, you know Gina. Bear with us, we hope. We're trying to do this and figure it all out as we go. This is going to be short and sweet because we have our own mandatory meetings and we'll go over a lot of specific things that are important for and expectations for the kids as we kind of get closer to signing up and contracts and everything else. So we just introduced ourselves. Christopher McCrackan is a stage crew manager, so he's one of the kids who is down in the crew. He's a high school senior this year. The other stage crew manager is Dan Pantaleo. I don't think he's here tonight, but he didn't have to be. These are the two guys who stay and work with the kids, painting and helping out on the set. So you'll see them all the time when the children are down there. Let's see, stage, okay, this year, production team, okay, this year we're choosing 2 shadows because Chris and Dan graduate. The production team will be the ones to pick those shadows to help take over where these folks will leave off with their managing, their stage managing. The tech crew, I'm just kind of reading through this, I did this this afternoon, so bear with me. Group of students, okay, basically the crew is a bunch of students that work behind the scenes. We have a stage crew. We have costumes that we help out with. Obviously, there are a couple of things that costumes will need help with. So they'll help with that. Sometimes there's quick changes and other such things that they'll ask for students to help with. So there's costumes, there's lighting, which we do have color lighting, but Ganella is the one who's in charge of that. He works with the kids as well. And we have one other one, which was props, which is Maxine, who's right here, and Steve. And they make all the props that go on the stage, and the kids help make these different props, and they also bring them on and off the stage. So those are the 4 groups that we have, and those are the 4 areas that the kids get involved with. We're going to have a mandatory meeting on November 14th, which will better explain all the specifics that we'll need to get into, but for tonight, just to mention that mandatory meeting, you need to be there. It's 11 o'clock on November 14th. It's a Saturday. Be sure to include, be sure to include your emails and everything. That's our main contact with everybody. So if we don't have an up-to-date email, we might miss or accidentally miss out on getting in touch with us. Other than that, all the sign-up forms are out right now. No forms can be handed in late. The sign-up forms are due on the 28th of October. We won't accept any late forms because we just have so many children, so many students that want to get involved that it's just too crazy to try to keep up. We kind of needed to come up with an end date. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
Yay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. We'd like to have your children involved. Because we are at a smaller stage this year, we have to reduce, we already reduced the cast by 20-25 kids. It'll probably go down a little bit more from that. But there's just, in Olympia, there's just no wing space. So there's barely enough room for the cast, let alone having 20 middle school helpers back there, because that's what they want to do, and I understand that. So we're trying to figure out a way how we can maybe get those hours worked this year and credit them for some next year. We're trying to work something out with that. So we don't want to discourage anybody from volunteering. That's my point. We only have so much space to work with this year. And then next year we'll be all set back at home. Next is costumes. Now Stephanie Schmidt is our costume lead this year. She is an alumni of Athena Middle School and Athena High School. She's taken the lead. Jen Tuttle is always around to help. If you want to say something about costumes, feel free, because Steph has show you. Yeah, it's all you. Okay. All right. Jen Tuttle has made these kids look good for years and years and years. What's your stuff called? Their costume.
Diva. Oh yes, we're the divas.
Diva.
Sure. So I'm Jen Tuttle. I have chaired costumes for Athena Middle School. This will be year number 7. Yay. So costumes for production of middle schoolers, where we're dealing with 400 some odd costumes on any given year. It requires tons and tons and tons of help. It takes a village and maybe a city. So regardless of whether or not you can sew, or if you have an hour or if you have a half an hour, the costume room is right down at the end of the hall. Please come in if you're like, well, I've got 45 minutes before I need to pick my kids up. Come in. We always have jobs, gluing, sewing, cutting something out, doing, this, that, and the other thing. Please, please, please. It takes literally everybody to get this put together. So we will take your help. And this year looks exciting. So there'll be 3 of us, Tina Nersinger, myself, and Steph Schmidt, who will take the lead, which is great because that's what she went to school for. So that's very exciting. Things like What kinds of shoes do my children need? What kind of undergarments do my children need, etc. will all be addressed in emails throughout this process. We will try to get those decided ASAP so we can get started on that. I will say that if you could please ensure that your students wear shorts and a tank top or t-shirt or something underneath their clothes to rehearsal, that's very helpful for us as we try on costumes. So, we might pull somebody in the middle of the cafeteria from rehearsal, ask them to, try something on, and if they're in big bulky sweatshirts and they're like, well, I don't have anything else on underneath, it gets really difficult to do that. So if you could just ensure they have something that they can, wear such that if I ask them to put a costume on, it would be no problem at all. And then for the shows, certainly everyone will be required to have some sort of cami and shorts or some sort of body liner as we will be, dressing in dressing rooms and so on. So more of that will come as we get closer to the show. We'll talk about logistics. Again, this is a new space for us, so we haven't exactly figured all this piece out yet, but it will come. We will get it figured out, and we'll keep you in the loop via email and information on the website. So, come volunteer. The costume room is a great place. If you've never visited, at least come in and say hello and look at our 300 wedding gowns on the wall. We haven't lived until you've gone in there. So, come visit us.
Jen was just speaking about logistics. So, for instance, it's going to be carry in, carry out over Olympia. That space is used for instruction. I mean, there's a whole school of 7 through 12 graders, over 6 through 12. 6 through 12. 6 through 12. Yeah, it is. So we need to carry our stuff in and get it out of there the next day because school is in session when we do our tech rehearsal. So bins, we'll send you all that information. When we talk about makeup too, same thing. We will figure out what we need. Children, we're going to pound this into their heads nicely. You have to be organized. Keep track of your stuff. We don't have time to look for lost articles, so pay attention to your space. So that'll be said 1,000 times. And that does not say sewer, it says sewer. Okay? And those little things do not look, they're not cupcakes, they're onions. Thank you very much. Joe doesn't want to talk about volunteers, you want me to do it. He's like, I didn't know I was going to do it. Okay. Joe Martinez is our volunteer coordinator. He's a kid. I didn't speak, I'm okay. I'll do it. So you will see a form inside of your parent handbook that explains all the jobs, people that we need help doing specific jobs. So, and I think there are coordinators alongside of those to be able to get a hold of them, right, Kelly? Yep. Am I right? Okay. So if you could fill it out, you can also drop that in the box if you'd like to do that. I do have some pens out there on that little cart, so you guys can grab pens. Take a moment to think about it if you really think that you need to think about it, because again, certain things are going to require more time. There's just no way around it. But other things can, just like what Jen said, if you have an extra 45 minutes, come cut some things out. The crazy costume here, crazy makeup here, which makes it hard to find, right? So thank you, Joe, for coordinating all that stuff for us. It's going to be a fun year. Yeah. Tickets. Okay, this year, we are used to so many seats in the APAC. We do not have that many in Olympia, but it is our next biggest venue in Greece. And we're very excited to be over there this year and share that space. So tickets is pre-sale. I highly encourage you to buy your tickets at the pre-sale so that you are assured a good seat for your child's performance or performances. Some people do go to more than one. So if you plan ahead, you won't be so sad at the end. This is going to be a little logistical nightmare for the ticket ladies. We've already been over there. We looked at the seats. We looked at the spaces. We got things all set. So a couple of things that Tammy might want to say something to, because Tammy Branagan, is about the handicap seating.
Hello, everybody. This year is very different. It is our first year at Olympia, and hopefully next year we'll be back. But handicap, we want to accommodate everybody, and it is much harder this year. We have different logistics. I have like 6 actual places per show for a handicapped chair. For a wheelchair, yes, sorry. And if people want to contact me, if we do have 10 seats for handicapped people, whether it be wheelchair or walker. If you can be transferred from a wheelchair into a chair, we need to know that also. So my email and every way to contact me with any questions is at the bottom of the form. Please contact me and we can help you with that. And just so everybody knows, during the pre-sale, 100% of our money that we earn during that time goes right to the cast and to the school. At Wegmans, when we sell that, it tends to, we have to give a portion of the proceeds to them. So it's nice that if we can do it all at pre-sale, that'd be great.
So take a look at your calendars. Yeah, exactly. So I think the big thing, we added $10 each. That hasn't changed in a good number of years. And we know we're going to sell less seats because there are less seats over there. So I did not increase the price. So I don't think that's fair. It's worth it. It's a $10 ticket. It's worth it. Can we argue that it's worth $12? Right now, I'm leaving that up to the high school because those kids have been around a little bit longer. So we're keeping it at 10 because we think it's fair. Again, if you know of somebody who needs handicap seating, the sooner you contact Tammy, the better it'll be for you. Less stress on you to make sure that they're accommodated. Okay, go ahead. Tom Waydelis is not here this evening. He is our set designer, our set lead construction. He works primarily with all the adults. We have to build this set off-site this year because of the construction that's happening in the APAC. So we had to rent space off-site in Greece, thank God, so that the guys can do that. As a result, we cannot have children working there because that's not in the contract with the people that own the building. So it has to be adults associated with a volunteer. So if you are a parent who would like to volunteer to help with sets, we would love to take you. You cannot do kids. High school kids with a parent. And I cannot do middle school kids. I need to make sure that everybody's safe. That's all. So we have other pre-production stuff that we can do with painting. All that stuff can be brought here, and we can work on that on Saturdays. And the tech people will be glad to answer all those questions, especially at the November 14th meeting, because we have more logistics to figure out. But anyway, Tom's our set designer, and he already showed me the set design. We have a meeting shortly about that with the district people, props. Maxine Murphy, who comes back to us every year. I'm like, God bless this woman. Her kids have been out of middle school for 3 years. Okay, like your last one left 3 years ago in high school still. She comes back every year to lead the props. In this show, there's a lot of props. So like that big head, for instance, and the bird that chirps, and it's just a puppet. There's puppets in the show. If you've never seen the show and you have Netflix, this show is on Netflix. And it's almost like that. It's just a little bit different because they always change versions of it. But Maxine, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about props besides she's coordinating it. You will get emails. Perhaps there's something that needs to be donated. Maybe you have something sitting around that you could donate to us for props that we make. Right? Okay. That's what they're going to do. So watch out for all that stuff. Go ahead. Hit the button. Hit the button over on the right. Please. Did you want to talk about sponsors?
I can't heard the talking. So I took it up and just talk about it. How come everybody else got out of it? You're ready. You're full. You're going to pay for this one. I know.
Every year, here I'll start. Every year, we have lots of Greece and other area community members who own businesses and whatnot. Sponsor the show for various levels, and we cannot do that without all of those wonderful people, and some of whom I know are sitting in this room. So thank you for your past donations and your sponsorships. We can't do it without you, and here's some information so that if you don't own a business, that's okay, but there's ways to ask people to be a sponsor at different levels. Information.
Hi, I'm Raelene Lavelle. Actually, I don't really know this.
They're videos.
Oh, okay.
I should do.
I'm Raelene Lavelle. I'm in charge of the sponsorships. We have a team that's working on it, but unfortunately it's very hard to find a lot of people who are willing to sponsor. So what we're asking is if all of you could maybe just go out there, and if you do know people with businesses, or if you own a business, or if you have any way to help us out with the sponsorships in our playbill, that would be great. And just so you know, that money also goes towards charity. So I have some hard copies. We have a nice letter if you do have anyone that might be interested. I believe we're also probably going to put the letter up on the website, and if you have any questions, my contact information's on here.
Where's that going to be? Where's that going to be?
Well, tonight I'll put it back. How about if I put it on the back table? But also, we're going to put it on the website also.
Okay, yay.
Thank you.
Very much. Next slide. Gretchen, want to talk about publicity? You want me to do that? Gretchen Vona was sitting up in the front row. You can at least say hi. Okay. She is our eyes and ears with regard to publicity. She already has a draft of our, what's it called again?
Press release.
Press release. Thank you. I just had a blank moment. How do we get the word out there? The main thing this year, I bet you can't guess, what the main thing we want to make sure that people understand about the show. There it is, and it's in Olympia, Greece Olympia, yay! And of course the dates. And for those of you who are older and who've had children go through here before, I changed the time of the matinee to 1 o'clock. I'm afraid to death that I'm not going to be able to have time to feed those kids, so I'm like, let's do 1 o'clock. There you go, just an hour earlier. And your kids will feel like they can breathe in between shows and we're not beating them to death. So with regard to publicity, posters will be ready, we think, by November 7th. It was, last year it was ready for the parent pre-sale. It is designed, it is ready to be printed, and the print shop at Pre Central is outstanding. You send them something one day, and the next day I have it delivered in my room. I'm like, what? You guys are amazing. So, and they're great about asking questions. So you should have those posters in your hand by the 7th if you're going to come to the parent pre-sale between 10 and 1 out there in the commons area. And we need you to hang posters, but don't hang posters without permission. Okay, so make sure you get permission. It can't be at bars or pubs for obvious reasons. Okay, so let's just use our common sense on the posters. But hang them up. Tell your friends, tell your families. Good segue for this that somebody reminded me of. You can go ahead and do that. We'll do your name in just a second. Facebook, right? Social media, great thing. Could you just, and I'm talking to everybody, including the people behind that videotape. A lot of people change their profile picture, if you're a Facebook user, to a poster or something. A lot of people do that during showtime. Hey, just so you know, this show's coming up. We've got great things to say about it, blah, 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 which is great. Please make sure that any comments that are attached to your profile picture are positive. Okay? Because then I can follow along. Okay? So, yay, everything's positive because this is an awesome thing. And we're working together to make this happen. And then by the time that you sit there in that show and you watch your children up there, and they do all this awesome stuff, and we have an amazing orchestra, amazing backstage, amazing everybody. It's like, wow, this is awesome. It was all worth it. Just please keep this from me, from my heart to yours. Keep everything positive on Facebook, because all it takes is one negative thing to mess things up, okay? You can probably get a phone call from me. All right, so please make sure that you keep that positive. So I segue from the posters into that, which we love having the information on Facebook. Hair and makeup. That was complicated. Listen, I didn't even do that too. She's like, oh my gosh. Come on, that's for Broadway. Michelle Martinez, Tina Nersinger, you've been doing makeup hair, she does everything, are going to be working with hair and makeup. I think there's another slide about what to expect for that. Yes, volunteers, and they'll feed you. Just saying. They always bring food. They're crazy hair and makeup people. You do not have to have experience. You just have to be ready and willing to do whatever they ask you to do. It can always be interesting. Boys and girls have to wear makeup on the stage. Okay? And everybody has to apply base makeup before they are called. So if your child is called at 5 o'clock for a show that starts at 7:30, they need to have their base makeup on. And all of those, all that information will be communicated to you via email. We'll put it on the website. I will even have hard copies for kids outside of my room. We do that with everything. There's never an excuse not to have makeup on, because they are going to be busy enough with all the other crazy makeup that has to be added on top of that, and the leaves. So please, 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 R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Yeah.
It's also very important that they all bring their own makeup.
Oh yeah, own makeup, sanitary.
Yeah, they bring their own makeup in a baggie with their name on it, their own wipes, so there's no cross-contaminations, no one gets pink eye.
Allergies,
Yeah,
Okay,
shares
and
makeup.
again, this information, you will have a document. It will be there bulleted with information for you. Specific details communicated closer to the show. No worries. Next slide. Merchandise. Barb Holzmacher does not need a whole lot of volunteers except for schleppers. And a schlepper is somebody that carries logs and puts it where she needs it. Because again, we're carrying, carry out. We don't have a lot of place to store things over there.
By the
One
way,
night we
I'm
can
sorry, I love the clip art you picked for me.
Do you like the clip art?
Perfect.
Not. I have the dragon there somewhere. I thought it was cute. I couldn't find a cute donkey. There you go. I think she ordered those ear things. In fact, I think she said they came in. So, I'm gonna have Mr. Bowles in her. I'll do it. So there's really cool stuff that we're gonna have for sale for little kids, of course, and for you. And that also includes apparel, if you would like to buy apparel with Shrek information on it, so your child can actually walk around advertising. Look, show it is. Okay. So all that will be available to you via website, hard copy at my room, email. It's all there. It will be. The nurse, Kim Cahill. I'm not doing a whole lot of love notes this year, but we'll talk about the nurse because we're all about being safe, making sure that your child is safe when they are with us at shows, and we need help with that.
So for the shows, we need a nurse on site for every single show. So I am begging for anybody who is an RN, LPN, or EMT certified who can give basic first aid to please sign up to volunteer. I have about 6 alumni who've been coming back for many years, but I'm down to only like 2 people who are currently in middle school. So, and I'd like to watch the show too. So I can't be at every show backstage, but we need 2 volunteers per show. And basically, we just basically provide first aid backstage, falls, sick kids, fainting, overheating, that kind of stuff. I also want to point out that we are volunteers. We are not paid staff of the district. So when we do call because your child is sick or there's a problem or there is an issue, they do need to be picked up. And it is ultimately the parent's responsibility, not the volunteer nursing or the EMT staff backstage, because we have had a little bit of problem with that in the past. So we're just going to say it outright and put it out there for everybody. So please, on the sign-up sheet, there is a slot for to volunteer for that, so please sign up. And your only commitment for that is during the shows, too, so it's not really a huge commitment. And then the other thing is I'm just going to readdress illness, like Julie said. If your child feels ill, keep them home. Kind of for the cast, follow the policy of school policy, 24 hours fever-free, sick-free, before they can come to rehearsal or even a show. It is not fun when illness spreads through the entire cast like we have had. So, we'd rather have them miss one rehearsal, even if it is during tech week, than get everybody sick. So, and if your child has any medical concerns, please talk to me directly before the show so we're well aware and prepared for anything we need to prepare for.
And don't be surprised if I ask you if there's a big medical concern, and I talk with Kim, and she's like, yeah, I could use some extra help, and I ask you to come backstage with your child. That I will never, ever hesitate to ask, because the last thing we want is for something terrible to happen to any of these kids. So, as parents, we just have to be there. I'm there, still are. Okay, Chaperones, Teresa, Kaiser, here, you don't have to say anything, but you just have to cheat. She's here, so there she is in the front row. Teresa is going to head up our chaperones again, and because we are off-site and we will have kids in more of a concentrated area, boy, but I love to have more chaperones too. your job as a chaperone is not to discipline children. Okay, so you do not have to be like, you're getting detention, or I'm telling on you. Okay, yes, tell on them. But that's our job and that's the administrator's job. Okay, so if somebody's hitting somebody, don't go in. You don't have to do anything bad. You just have to keep eyes on the prize. That's what I call it. So if there's an issue, there's people that you can tell. They will come directly to me, and boy, will we show up. And it will not take very long. I left shows to go upstairs to deal with issues. I texted Mr. Fulkerson, and he's there, he's on it. So there's a lot of support with your staff, your paid district staff that are here. So it's not up to you to discipline, but we would love to have your eyes on them to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be, and just kindly remind them, remember, you can go to the bathroom here, you are not to wander, all that stuff. And boy, they hear it from us all the time. So I never hesitate. Come on over and sit by Mrs. Bechtold. So yeah, they've been pulled aside for that. Okay. The production coordinator of these shows, this is his last year because he's had kids, geez, how many years? 6 years. And now his youngest, Tina's youngest daughter, is finally in 8th grade. And this is his last year. We're looking for somebody to take over next year, of course. Don't get scared. But he's just been amazing through all these years. And a production coordinator is the guy that does like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. And he's just a big coordinator. We have a lot of fun, too, on the production staff. And we have our meetings on Saturday mornings. Doesn't that sound terrible? But it's really much. We have food. But Mike has a lot of things to say, I'm sure. He's going to come up and talk to you all, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Mike for all the years of service that he and his wife, his entire family, has given to Greece Athena Middle School Music Theater. So thank you.
Thank you, first of all. Hello. I did tell Julie that whenever she does Tarzan, I will come back and be the production coordinator, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Glory and Garth and Sam. So this will be it for me. If anybody is interested, please let us know. I don't know if that was on the volunteer sheet or not, but we certainly would like to have somebody work alongside myself and the production team this year so that next year's transition will be much easier than if somebody's cold in the chair and has to learn as they go. Additionally, on this volunteer sheet, we've asked people to fill it in, and historically we've always asked people to check what they're interested in. I'd like to ask this year that you try to rank them, maybe your top 3, 1, 2, 3, or 5, because what always tends to happen is everybody seems to check the same chairs, and then we have 50,000 volunteers for merchandise when the booth can only hold 2 people. And we also have people check multiple places, and they get called from all these different chair people, and we try to allocate it so it's a little bit fairer for everybody to understand what we're asking of you and what you ask to participate with. Obviously, this show and what we do here is a great lesson for the kids. It's a lot about rights and responsibilities, and the kids have tried out and they can make the show and are part of the crew have the right to participate in the show. With that, they have a responsibility to make sure that, as Julie said, they're maintaining their grades and they're handing in their forms and they're paying attention to rehearsals and they're doing all those things. So we would ask that you guys help reinforce that at home. Make sure you come and get them when they need to be picked up. Our artistic director a few years ago was here till I think like 10 o'clock at night one night because one of the kids didn't have a ride and she can't leave until everybody's accounted for.
And I can't take them home.
And
That's a policy. I can't drive them home either.
yeah, so she can't take them home, therefore she can't wait. She has to stay with that student until everybody has a ride. So please make sure you do that. Also, as Julie and Crystal and the artistic team has a right to the responsibility to make sure that these kids are taken care of. They have a right to ask the kids if they're not behaving appropriately, to change their behavior, or maybe even have to sit out a rehearsal or a show. And nobody wants any of that. So please, once again, we ask that you help with that at home, just to reinforce it. These shows are really about making memories, and I can say in the 6 years I've been involved with this, I think we've all had a lot of great memories from all of our shows. We want your kids, and we want you all to have excellent memories from this as well. So as much help as you can give us, it's going to be rewarded in the end. What do you think? Oh, definitely. We have a couple of openings on the production team right now. I know we need an attendance coordinator. That job, I don't know if it's described in the handout. I think it
said
is,
maybe
but
1 or 2 people.
So basically, we're looking for 1 or 2 people to help get the attendance for all the students on Saturdays. After school, it's not as critical because we're usually smaller groups, but we'll need somebody to kind of track that, make some calls on the weekends if the student dropped off a note why they couldn't be here. That'll be available for the attendance coordinator. We just want to make sure because technically we are accountable during that time for the students' whereabouts. We also need some help with concessions. Concessions can be a little crazy at times. Historically, we've had 1 concession chairperson, but prior to last year, that 1 concession chair had a family of 5 or 6, so he had a ton of support. Last year we didn't have that, and we really kind of struggled with getting everything pulled together. So this year we're going to try to have at least 2, which we now have, and maybe a 3rd co-chair for concessions. That's big, obviously, for the weekend shows, so we definitely need help there.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
Yes, next we do have somebody. Yes. The Julios joined the production team. As Julie said, we have a lot of fun on Saturday mornings, sometimes at the expense of each other.
Or you.
Or at each other. Everybody's fair game. Certainly feel free to come. It's not a boring 14 hours that we spend in the room. It goes by quickly. And then I guess lastly, the thing that we think is very important is that kids have fun at the end of the day. We want this to be a fun experience for them. And so if you hear anything at home where somebody's upset about the way they're being treated by the cast members, crew members, or anything like that, let us know so we can address those issues. And I'm sorry, I did say lastly, but this is one more. This is the final lastly. We also have a couple of production assistants in the high school each year, and the 2 that we've had in the last several years are seniors this year, so we definitely are going to need somebody to step up and help with it. So those of you that may have some older students in high school, you think they may be interested, if they're in National Honor Society, they get hours for that. There's a lot of benefits to doing that. We'd definitely like to have their participation as well. And I just got signaled to cut, so did you do this?
During 8th grade periods, if you were wondering, the production counts as volunteer hours for that trip for the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. is going to Washington, right? Yes. Okay. So there you go. Any questions? I'll be up here. Thank you so much for your time. We've kept it in an hour. So thank you for being here.